Yes, people, what's happening? And welcome back to the Frankie Allen Podcast for episode 35 with the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen. Dad, are you doing good today?
Doing great. Feeling cool. In my blue trackie. Somebody sent a comment, did you see that comment last week? Where does Frankie get all his trackies from? Well, I like tracksuits. I was born with a tracksuit. I was born with a pair of trainers on.
Yeah.
As most Scousers are. But Under Armour sent me some stuff, didn't he?
Oh, I was talking to Jack about this in the gym today.
Yeah.
Yesterday. About with a fella crashing into your car.
Yeah, it's a long story, but basically he was well in with Under Armour and he sent me a box of stuff. Yeah, it was great. So, but not this tracksuit, but some tracksuits. Yeah, but I feel dead comfy in a trackie.
What is this tracksuit?
What do you mean?
This one?
Yeah, that one looks fresh.
It's just something I got from JD.
Yeah, nice. JD, Under Armour, Nike, whoever you are, if you want to sponsor the podcast, give me dad some free trackies. Get on us. You will capture the older gentleman market who wear trackies across the UK. Anyway, we decided to bring...
me, do you?
Yeah, you are an older gentleman, would you not say?
No, but I'm only 21.
A senior citizen.
Jack's giving you a load there.
21.
Anyway, we decided to bring Jack on today's podcast once again. You heard a bit of his life story on the last podcast, and whilst we really enjoyed it, look, we said it was a great dynamic between the three of us. You know that the banter is flying about, especially with the fact that he's a puppet, a human puppet, and he dead.
I'm not sure really. I thought I saw him when we done that gig in Real on the beach, but when I got right up to him, there was a girl twatting him on the head with a fucking stick. Yeah. And all these kids were laughing their fucking heads off. Then a copper coming threw some sausages at him, string of sausage, and dog was barking. And I heard someone shout, "That's the way to do it, that's the way to do it." But when I looked, it wasn't him, it was the fella's nose was slightly bigger.
What is this? That's the way to do it?
Punch of Judy.
Fucking hell, because you not have parked that sweet until we started the podcast.
Which is why Build a Bear have been in touch to sponsor the next podcast.
To say what?
Puppet.
Oh, belter. Anyway, today's episode is supposed to be Beyond the Jokes, Ghost, Aliens and Timeless Advice with Frankie Allen. But what I want to talk about first, Dad, is one of my favourite stories of all time and also one of your favourite stories of all time. Now, we didn't get a chance to discuss this on the last podcast. We talked about Jack Ryan's journey from a singer, a cabaret act, to a comedian. We talked about Frankie Allen's strengths on stage.
Okay.
What we did not discuss is Jack Ryan butting a comedian backstage in a venue.
Well, this is something I wanted to discuss in the first half. I had it all written out today, but you said don't do it.
Why not? No, I did not say don't do it.
And what the subject, how we could have segued into what happened with Jack is comedians. When Jack became a comedian, did he agree or does he agree with me?
Yeah.
That there's a lot of rivalry between comedians. They all hate each other.
Yeah.
People wouldn't realise how jealous of each other they are.
Yeah.
And it all came to a head with Jack, with another comedian, a very well-known comedian in Liverpool. He was working in a club, the Bronze Club, I think it was called.
Oh my God, you're going way too deep in this story. You can't say that.
All right, we'll cut it out.
Wait there. Can you explain? Because I don't want my dad to explain the story. I would love you to just tell the story from the
I'd love
get-go.
your dad to tell it. No. Do you want me to tell you?
I want you to tell
I don't know really what happened. You know. You can mention a fucking club. You don't have to mention the other comedian's name. It could be anyone.
I wasn't a full-on stand-up comedian at this point. I was just coming on with a song, doing comedy spot and then finishing with a song. So which meant I still had to set up a PA system, speakers and all that.
Yeah.
And I went on and done this show over on the Whittle and it went great. So they booked me back for 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So I turned up and set my equipment up again. And I went on stage, done my shows, doing great. I was made up. And I got there and I seen it was a comedy night, so I was on with another comedian. That meant
just two of you.
Yeah. And while I was on stage doing my shows, and obviously I'd worked hard on the material to make sure it was right for that venue and stuff. I was getting loads of laughs, it was going well. Next minute, this comedian walked in, off across the dance floor, had his suit over his back like this. And he was trying to heckle me while I was on stage. And
What do you mean he was trying to heckle you?
he just shouting up like smart remarks while I was on stage. Oh, here he is, blah, blah.
Could the audience hear it?
Yeah, the audience heard it. It was unprofessional. Anyway, he flew in the dressing room, as we call it, or the green room, whatever. And he sat in there listening to me.
Yeah.
I'm doing my act. And there was only a curtain, like here.
Yeah.
And it was like separating us. So he sat in the dressing room and I'm on the stage here. I'm getting loads of laughs going down great. So his bottle's gone, obviously, because he's the comedian, really.
He was on next, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't booked as a comedian that night?
No, but I was booked as, comedy vocalist or whatever, even though I was only doing 2 songs. Anyway, I'm on stage telling jokes and I just heard this. Oh no!
Fucking hell.
After every fucking
Did
joke.
you think he was having sex with someone in the dressing room?
I thought he was interfering with himself.
He was yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And
I was fuming.
Did you know that I thought he was going to go, all that.
Could the audience see?
Well, this is the biggest part. This is the biggest part of the story, because when I finished my show, went down well. I've come in the dressing room and I went. I just looked at him.
Yeah, well, your blood boiling on
Yeah.
stage. Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, right, being brought up by my dad, who knows all these entertainers, like your dad does.
Yeah.
So I've got respect for them before I've even met them.
Yeah.
Got fucking tapes of me dad working with these people in like the 80s and stuff. I know he's made a good name for himself as a comedian. I've got respect for him.
Yeah.
I want to be a comedian. Anyway, I just looked at him, I was thinking, what the fuck? Like, why are you being so horrible? So anyway, he went, all right, Jack.
Yeah.
I went, no, I'm not all right at all. You've fucking been booing me and heckling me while I've been on stage. I went, you've been in this business so long.
Yeah.
Surely you can give a bit of respect to a young act coming through. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So he's jumped up out of his seat and the pair of us were just in each other's faces then, and he was just going, oh my God, I'm not going on now. I'm not going on. The compere had to come in and separate us. And he's like, I'm not going on. I know the audience have just heard me. And he quickly realised the audience had heard him, like, making loads of noises.
Okay, yeah.
So he felt guilty, did he?
Yeah, it wasn't the London Palladium. It was a small fucking 150-seater club.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Like, the audience heard him. Anyway.
Fucking idiot.
So why is there a fable about you butting him then?
Oh, this fucking compere must have said something to your dad, or something got back to your dad.
How do you know
Said it
about
to the
this?
agent. The agent told me.
What
He won't
happened,
mention his
Dad?
name. Well, one of the agents I was speaking to, he said, "She heard about and Jack Ryan," and I said, "No, what happened?" He said they were fighting in the dressing room. I said, "What? Why? What happened?" He said, "Well, Jack was on stage and so-and-so, this other comedian, quite well known, started shouting out from the dressing room, I've heard that, that's my gag, that's my gag." Was that what he was doing?
It's funny that, you know.
He was just going, oh my God. And then when I come off, he was like, you done one of my jokes. And I went, I didn't. I just said I only do funny jokes or something like that,
Fuck
something
idiots.
smart. But anyway, it's all calmed down now. It's all over and done with, because that was so many years ago. But it was a big thing at the time. Like, I couldn't stop going on about it for weeks because I was devastated over it, because I was starting out. And I'm not being funny, I would never treat an act like that, a younger act who's starting out. So I
Yeah, we
was
spoke
fuming.
about something like this on the last podcast
I
of
was
someone who
fuming,
was
yeah.
being weird to me while I was on stage. But as my dad said, like, this industry, like, I'm a little bit out of it because obviously I work as an agent and a promoter and stuff, so I don't really dabble in the ins and outs of the comedy. Why would you describe it? It's like bitchy playground shit, innit?
Well, it is, because if you think in real life, whether I will just openly give you advice now on what you're wearing, or how you've got your hair cut, or anything, like personal advice, I wouldn't be in the position to give you advice, would I? Like, as in, speak to you so openly and give you my
I
opinion.
mean, I don't know what it's
Backstage.
like now. There's not that many comics knocking about now, but it used to be very, very bitter.
Yeah.
Every comedian you'd speak to, he'd mention another comedian and go, he's fucking rubbish. What's he doing on the stage? Then be phoning the agents up and, you know, I believe he walked off and is causing trouble. It was very, very bitter.
People believe it.
Business, yeah.
What I was just saying then was, if people giving you advice or their opinion naturally in normal, natural life, But when you're a performer or a comedian, people have got the opportunity to say what they think of you.
Say mad stuff to you.
Yeah.
The old, audience members always say, "Can I tell you where you're going wrong?"
Yeah. Can I tell you where you're going wrong? Or they'll come backstage once you've finished and go, "You were good, but I didn't like that bit," or I didn't like, and they don't realise how much it can knock your confidence. I reckon there's been hundreds of acts out there who started out as a performer, singer, comedian, whatever, and I've had the careers or the job, the performance career just ended like that from someone just saying something so simple as just, they think it's just rolled off the tongue, dead natural, but really it's not nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
Today we're going to talk about ghost stories, people.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about ghost stories, which is actually quite fitting because, people might have seen horror films such as Chucky and a few others. And it's interesting that we can talk about ghost stories and like spiritual vibes with a human being, or should I say a puppet that was possessed by the spirit of a human
Chucky.
being. Yeah. And now is alive today.
Well, the funny thing is, we're all ghosts really, because we've all died on stage. I've died on stage. Jack's died on stage. I don't think you ever died on stage.
I'll tell you what, between us, let's talk about the biggest death you've ever had on stage. Can you talk to me about it? Who wants to go first? Dad, you go first.
I think I've told a story before, though, the biggest death I've ever...
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what
Can
happened.
we explain to the audience first, Dad, what a death is?
What a death is, you're on stage, you're going through your act and nobody's laughing. Nobody fucking laughing at all. You can get it, 400 people in a crowd. You don't think you're funny, so they're just looking at you. You can have what you call a silent death, where you can't hear a pin drop, but they're just looking at you, and it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing that you feel as though you're dying. It's horrible. Or you can get a noisy death, which isn't as bad, where when you're on stage, everyone's just talking while you're on.
Nah, that's not as bad. The worst is the silent vibe.
Silent death is fucking horrible.
The silent vibe is
Horrible.
ruthless.
Have you had a silent death, Will?
Yeah, I have the
Where was
worst
that?
silent death of all time.
Oh, yeah, in
when I went to
South
Carmarthen.
Wales, yeah. But they were just a horrible fucking crowd. I mean, I've had worse than a noisy death and a silent death.
Go on. What did you have then?
Well, what happened was, I was doing this show in Dortmund in Germany for the army, and it was a sergeant's mess or corporal's mess thing or whatever the fuck it was. And before it went on, this fella who was organising, he called him a fucking like sergeant major or some fucking thing, the PMC in charge of entertainment. He said, don't mention drugs when you're on stage.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't mention drugs. He said, what it is, he said, we've had problems with a lot of Scousers who've joined the army. That's exactly what he said. And some of them are heroin addicts. Been in hospital in Germany and all that, and we're trying to kind of like... Anyway, he said, just don't mention drugs. So I said, okay. So I'm on stage at this... Have you ever done any army gigs, Jack?
No.
Like 300, 400 fucking people all sitting there with all this like white stripes down their pants, all this like army fucking thing on it. You have the shows. So I went on stage doing a few gags and getting a good laugh. And I used to tell a gag, and what the gag was, I'll tell a gag now. I used to say, my little brother came home from school the other night, chased in the house by 4 coppers. He had a load of cannabis in his hand. He ran in the living room. Before the police got him, he stuffed the cannabis inside a cuckoo clock. And the police were searching the house for 4 hours. They couldn't find anything at all. 12 o'clock, the clock struck 12, and the cuckoo came out and said, hey man, it's the midnight hour.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the fucking joke, a very old joke in here.
Yeah.
It's a good gag, it's not bad. So I said, my brother came home from school the other night with a big bunch of cannabis in his hand. The next thing is, I remember, I was on the floor. This prick, Steve, his name is, if I ever find him or if you ever watch this, make contact with me because I'll punch your fucking head in. This prick, he ran towards me and he threw his fucking arm around me neck in a fucking headlock and he's screaming down me, I told you not to mention drugs. I'm on the fucking floor. The next thing, this twat's like fucking strangling me. And I'm on the floor. I like that. So I just started hitting him on the head.
Yeah.
So he let go in the end, and all these people fucking dragged me off. There was fucking murder. Some people, were kind of like supporting me, screaming at him. He's only telling a fucking joke. What are you doing? What are you doing? But he's still going like that. I told him not to mention drugs. The biggest dickhead I've ever come across in my life. If I ever met him and give him a terrible fucking hiding. And that's like the worst death I've ever had.
What about you, Jack?
I've got two. One of them is quite quick, where I went to a football club and I was supposed to do an hour. I'd done 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was a dream gig. They were a lovely crowd. And next minute, someone opened the door. It was in Wales. Someone opened the door of this football club. It wasn't like a big football stadium. It was a local football club, like a little one. And this pigeons flew in. And it's flying around the fucking club. So all the lads think it's great to stand on the chairs and try and catch this pigeon.
While you're on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, the fella before it went on had said, we don't care what you say. We just make sure you do your hour. So it's 50 minutes. And I know that, I've got to do the next 10 minutes. Yeah. And I had to carry on telling jokes while everyone's trying to catch this pigeon going round. And it just went like that. Like that.
Did it die, the pigeon, in the end?
No. In the end, he opened the door and it flew back out. But
did it ruin the act altogether?
Yeah, it sort of ruined me. And it just died. And I just had to, I had to stay on. Yeah. Just waiting for them to catch this pigeon. That's not really a worst death I've had, but it's a bad time that I had.
Yeah.
My worst time is when I was in that pub where you sent me. That is where I died 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
And
I
won't ever forgive the period for it. You sent me to this
I never sent you there.
Horrible
This
gig.
is my fault.
And
This is my fault.
And I ended up all over the internet. My phone was fucking ding, 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 ding the next day. I had to go home and get myself pissed. Because
the one in West Derby, the Days Brew.
We did. Let me explain.
It's horrible.
Let me explain.
I'm still shocked by it.
So basically, Dad, I got a phone call off a mate of mine, and it was something to do with all the lads from Heighton, a bit older than me.
Bad scowls, yeah. Bad scowls from
basically, John said they do like this memorial day for his dad who'd passed away every 4 years or maybe every year or something like that. And I said, oh, what is it, mate? Because he wanted you to do it originally, Dad. So I said, what is it? He said, basically, we all go and play around the golf, the lads. We just play golf. Afterwards, all of our missus turns up. We go to West Derby Golf Club. I had a look at the function room online. Yeah. Great, no problem. West Derby Golf Club sound. I said, is it a mixed audience? Yeah, we've got a singer on. We've got live music. We've got a bit of an auction and a raffle. I can see that in my head. You can both see that in your head, what that looks like. That's a mixed audience. That is perfect for Jack, right?
Yeah, but hang on. Why didn't I do it in the first place?
We were doing the Rialto Plaza in Coventry.
Oh, in Coventry, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I remember you were working that night.
We were doing the Rialto Plaza in Coventry. So then I hadn't heard from the lad for a while over the gig, but I knew it was on. And then he phoned me and said, sorry, I phoned him a couple of days before and said, is everything okay for this gig? Or text him back and forth. And he said, yeah, but it's changed to the Days Brew pub.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what... I'm from Crosby. Yeah. I'm from the posh parts of Liverpool, North Liverpool. People call me a fucking wool if they're watching this. But anyway...
Semi-wool.
Semi-wool. But I don't know where the fucking Days Brew pub is. I don't know anything about it. Can you set the scene, Dad, of what the Days Brew pub is like?
The Days Brew pub is in an area, it's kind of a sub-area of West Derby called Daysbrook. Yeah. That's what it's called. Right opposite the Daysbrook pub now is Tesco. They built a big Tesco there. But the Daysbrook pub itself, I used to do it hundreds of times. Jimmy Power, who's, we're negotiating to do that play with, he ran the Daysbrook pub for years.
Okay.
So it was a good venue, but it's just a little bit rough, with the proper, real spit and sawdust lads, you know what I mean?
So what happened, Jack, when you got there? Because I remember you belling me and going, what the fuck is this going?
No, but you booked him in there because I couldn't do it yet.
No, I've booked Jack in expecting a mixed audience.
Oh, okay. You
West
didn't know it was all
Derby
lads.
Golf Club.
So but Jack's okay with all lads.
So you've just said that before that that it was West Derby Golf Club and then I got changed last minute to the Daysbrook, yeah?
I'm talking like 24 hours before, 48 hours before.
So
max.
you've told me that.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, I live in West Derby.
Yeah.
And the golf club's on the street behind where I live.
Yeah.
And the pub's on the street in front of where I live.
Is the golf club a nice venue? If that was a mixed audience in the golf club,
the
it would have
golf
been a
club's
piece of
nice.
piss.
However, I've been and done the golf. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm an honest person. I've done the golf club twice, and both times had a horrible time.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
The audience are just dead snobby. They don't want to laugh.
Yeah, what
I
it
can't
is
be arsed with them.
with that, I know some of them are listening. A lot of those people that go to West Derby Golf Club, I've had a bad time there a couple of times years ago. And what it is, they're only fucking scallies from Old Swan and fucking Eighton and Notty Ash.
I had a terrible time with Carmarthen. Is that the same
Yeah,
vibe?
it's the same vibe. And
Carmarthen
what it
and what?
is, hang on, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish, because I hope you're all listening to this. All you fucking people from Old fucking Swan, from Wavertree, Notty Ash, and a load from Eighton, they move into West Derby and they think they're in Beverly fucking Hills.
Today's episode is brought to you by Skalptec, the leaders in scalp micropigmentation treatments. As you may know, Frankie himself has had the treatment done. He was bald and he couldn't go for a hair transplant due to weak donor hair. Now, he looks like he has a full head of hair, but has just chosen to shave it. It's taken years off him. He looks more like me brother than me dad now. Frankie, tell us, how's life been since you got your hairline back?
It's life-changing, it really is. I'm not one of these fellas that, kind of exaggerate or tell lies. It's life-changing. The answer to my prayers, I was kind of fucked up over my hair, like a lot of fellas are, for many, many years. Tried different things, went down the road, transplantation, didn't want to work, it didn't work for me, and tablets and whatever. This is the greatest thing that you're ever going to get done to your head. Get it done. Skalptec.
Skalptec offers a cutting-edge solution to hair loss that looks natural. Whether you want to add density to thinning hair, cover up scars, or create a full hairline, Skalptec has got you covered. Our mate, Terry Jones at Skalptec, he is the best in the business. He's won the UK Scalp Technician of the Year award 3 times, so you're definitely in safe hands with him. They have locations all over the UK, including Bearscough near Liverpool, Newcastle, London, and Shrewsbury, as well as Jersey and Rotterdam. They're really close friends of ours, and without them, we couldn't make this podcast happen. Mention the Frankie Allen Podcast to get a special discount on your booking. Visit skalptec.com to learn more and book your free consultation today. All the details, including the link to book your consultation and the contact information, are in the show notes or the video description.
Get it done. You won't regret it. Look at me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. I've got no hair really. Look at it. It's fabulous. It's great. Get it done.
Thanks to Skalptec for sponsoring today's episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
Funny enough, when you go out of town, you're in Manchester, Birmingham, everyone says, Scousers. They don't know there's different areas, but people in Liverpool, they move to certain areas, they move to West Derby, they think, that Beyonce lives next door to them. They think the big time. And that carries on when they go in, we're in a golf club now. I play golf.
That's true.
So they become very fucking snobby. Yeah. The biggest snobs are the working class, because give them a little bit of success, a little bit of prestige, or they think that they've gone up the ladder a little bit, keeping up with the fucking Joneses, got a bit of a semi-detached fucking house in West Derby. you know. They think that the big time. So when they're playing golf and they're sitting there and they get this attitude, like they had in Carmarthen and with you, like they had with Jack and Daysbrook, and like they had with me in the golf club, and you had in the golf club. They sit there and their attitude is, make me laugh.
No, but that wasn't Jack's vibe in the Daysbrook. I've had that loads of times. Go on.
What your dad's saying about West Derby is right there, but I suppose that you could say that about loads of places.
Yeah.
They're all pricks.
I'm not from West Derby.
I hope someone's fucking listening to
everyone from West Derby. You're
They're all fucking
the Scousers will be coming for you.
Anyway,
go ahead.
I moved there not long ago, really. So it's all right. It's not fucking. It's just like any other place in Liverpool.
Yeah.
But the pub is round the corner from where I live.
Yeah.
I don't drink in a pub.
So you couldn't turn it down, could you? You could walk there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is my point. So I've thought, right, I'm going to work tonight. I'm going there. Don't know what I'm walking into. Room full of lads, whatever. Hope it's sound. I've got something smart on, like a black suit, and I've threw a coat over and I've walked in. What they didn't tell me was I had to get there for, what would you say time you sent me there? About 9 o'clock, 8:30.
No, because he said that the lads were playing golf in the afternoon. It was all very disjointed.
Wasn't
and
daytime for me.
disorganised.
You sent me there in the night.
No, I think it was meant to be a nighttime event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I walked in the back. They're all bladdered. I can tell straight away.
Was there women there?
No, they're all steaming. There's fellas there. There's old fellas in the 60s. There's young lads in trackies with caps on in the 20s.
Yeah.
And I've been, now that pub is run by a friend of mine, and it's sound now. It's it's a nice pub. Yeah. It's not like a horrible scruffy old man's pub.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So I went in and I thought, fuck, this is not going to go well. And the fella's come up to me and he's like, listen, kid, I don't think this is going to go well, is it? He went, I don't think, do you want to do it still? Now, I don't want to say about money, but I'll say that he was offering me a little bit less than I was on.
Yeah.
And I mean a little bit less.
Not to go on.
So
go on.
Let's say 50 quid less.
Did he know the room had gone, did he?
Yeah, he sort of knew it.
Yeah.
So he's offering me £50 less to
just bail.
To bail.
Yeah.
Wish you'd have fucking done that now.
Yeah.
Me being me went, no mate, if I'm going home, you'll have to give me full fee.
Okay.
So anyway, I've went on. And he's got this little tiny guitar amp, something you plug a guitar into with a microphone in it. And I've went on. And I always time myself, so I put my timer on my phone and put it in the inside pocket. And I've went on and I've started telling jokes. And I started getting laughs.
Yeah.
And it was going okay. Then I looked at the clock and it was 18 minutes past. I'd only done 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Supposed to do an hour or whatever you booked me in there for.
Probably 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm picking on some fella just because he looked a bit scruffy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was getting a few laughs. Next minute, he stands up out of his chair, this lad.
Go on.
Didn't come for me, wasn't aggressive or anything, but just proper heckled me.
Yeah.
And because he sat with 50 of his mates who were all round the bend
Yeah.
and pissed, he was getting big laughs.
Beaked up.
There's nothing...
You were all beaked out of their minds.
Well, we don't know that for sure, so...
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Someone else getting laughs or being funny.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's not on stage doing material or trying to make a room full of scally lads laugh who would all like entertain me. They're thinking, who the fuck's this? Who the fuck is this young lad trying to make... Anyway, they don't know I do it for a living. They don't know I'm actually fucking good at what I do. And I'm booked. You know what I mean? But the moral of the story is it's very easy to feel when you come off stage or look like you've been doing it for 5 minutes. And that's what I thought they were thinking. They were looking at me like I did not know and had never been on stage before in my life. So they're heckling me. Anyway, some lad's been videoing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise. So I've come off and I've done 19 minutes and I thought, I can't do anything with this.
Yeah.
They're not interested. As soon as this fella starts heckling me and everyone starts getting up out the seats and moving around, and it was bad. So when you've just asked me when was the worst time I've died, it was this time.
Yeah.
You can't go, ladies and gents, this is not working, I'm gonna get off. This was a fucking rough as fuck night, and I thought, fucking hell, I'm gonna get fucking stabbed or something in here.
Yeah.
So I've got off. The fella comes up to me. Can't pay you all the money for that.
Yeah.
Can't give you fucking the full money for that. You only done 19 minutes.
Yeah.
I went, fair enough, I know that. He went, here's half your money.
Yeah.
So bear in mind, if it took him up on his first offer and not went on.
Yeah, he'd have made more dough.
Fucking hell.
So I took the money out of his hand like that, got in the car and went home.
Thought that was it?
I was fuming. But I thought that was it. Fucking hell, there's been plenty of times I drove home like that, gripping the wheel thinking...
fuck this.
Yeah, am I meant to do this for a living, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Next minute, I woke up the next morning and my phone must have had about... I'm not even joking, 160 WhatsApp messages off people, all forwarding me this clip that was on TikTok of me in a pub. I rang you. You were almost like, what can I do about it? I didn't know.
Did you know straight away it was from the night before?
Everyone's sending me this clip going, is this you? So I've had to explain myself over 100 times to everyone. Yeah, turned up at this gig, they were all drunk. They were heckling me. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
It went viral, though. You had a viral video.
It went fucking viral. I had to fucking beg him to take it down. He wouldn't. It was just up there. In the end, I had to go, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and people were fucking texting me and ringing me for weeks after it.
Fucking hilarious.
And it was just going round and round.
I mean, that is ruthless.
Did it actually lose your work, do you think?
No, but it fucking made me look piss poor. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I know I'm good at what I do because I've been doing it for a long time. I do it for a living. I get paid to do it. I'm booked. But the thing is, after that, it knocked me because I just thought, I can deal with hecklers. Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But this was bad. It was almost like,
no, that this
it was like if someone was in your face offering you advice.
Proper scousers.
I've watched it. What it is and what it was. It was like what Will said there. Proper dyed in the wool fucking hard case scousers, didn't give a fuck about anybody. And once they kind of like, you had a go at you, and he put you off balance a little bit.
Yeah.
What he reminded me of on that were like piranhas who like tasted a little bit of blood, saw a little bit of weakness in you. You'd said somebody had heckled you and they might have seen you looked a little bit as though you'd taken back a little bit. Then they just went for you. Then it was
well,
horrible.
I'll tell you, one of the comments in it was, I had a pint in my hand of Coke or I don't know, it was beer or a lemonade or whatever I had. Right. And while he's heckling me, I didn't know what I was saying, so I was like this going with a mic in my hand.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to fucking say, so I'm going, oh, shut up, you dickhead and all that. And then he's like, you're a fucking knobhead, go and sit down, you fucking scruffy bastard, go and get a wash, all this. I didn't know what to do. It was horrible.
What was the comments saying?
Oh, some of the comments were like, when you order a something off Wish, when you order comedian off Wish. Oh, one of the comments was, where's the next clip of the comedian at the bar, drunk, or of him signing on in the dole office the next day? It was horrendous.
It's just old stuff, when the comedian coming on that you've heard thousands of times.
And I was using all these old lines.
You better go down the dole tomorrow asking for another job because you're no good as a comedian.
Yeah.
It's all like stock things that they shout out,
But I'll tell you this, if I was on a night out with a group of the lads and there was someone on, I would never do it because I'm in the business. But if I stood up and shouted something at someone on stage and got a huge laugh off everyone around the room.
You'd keep going.
He got a taste of what I do for a living every day.
Yeah.
And he was getting laughs off all his mates. I was never going to win. So that's why I got off after 19 minutes. Took off me money. Thought I was in the clear and just got harassed for a week after.
Yeah, it's ruthless that late.
Just goes to show things, just go around TikTok.
Anyway, it died away in the end.
It did, but it was fucking, it's a story, isn't it?
Fucking hell, tell me about it. It's not worse than me in Carmarthen though. That was ruthless.
What was that?
Well, my dad gave me this job. I know you've heard this story before, but a lot of people listening to it or watching won't have heard this story. I was going out as a comedian when I was about 20. Looked very young, baby-faced, shaven head, which I don't know whether adds to this story at all. But basically, it was just, what I'm trying to say is, my dad gave me this job through a mate of ours, Roger, who we all know. And he said, go down and do this job in Carmarthen, which is southern Wales, but like the fucking proper
real Wales, Welsh-speaking.
Yeah, Welsh-speaking people.
Like going back to the 20s,
Howard's the comedian. Howard Kendall was the after-dinner speaker on the show. I was the comedian on the show. Yeah. It was my 12th or 13th gig. I had a fucking piece of paper with me gags on it, mate. Yeah. But it was like 500 quid or 400 quid. So my dad said, go down and do it. He couldn't do it because he already had a job somewhere.
In Bolton, yeah.
So I went all the way down to Carmarthenshire with Howard.
You drove, didn't you?
Driving and it probably passed me test about fucking 12 months before. I had a 1.4 litre, mate, like a bus on the fucking motorway. Drives all the way down to this gaff. Gets into the venue, like fucked off the journey, like done in. Gets out the car, walks in, and Vinnie Allen was my stage name. And the fella goes, Vinnie Allen? I said, yeah. He said, there'll be no swearing in here tonight. I said, oh, fuck off, mate. Yeah. You're having a laugh, aren't you? Like laughing. Told he was taking the piss. He went, no, I'm serious. All the lads are in the parish. Saying, the parish? What do you mean they're in the parish? So I went in the other room, I was having a little drink and all that, just have a fucking orange juice because I couldn't drink. I was driving that whole way. Anyway, walks into the main room. I think there was probably 500 lads in there. And I was on the top table, looking like a tiny teenager, very skinny, 20 years of age, in a fucking that mad check suit that I used to wear, as you know. And looked down at the sheet and it didn't have Vinnie Allen on it. It had Hal Nolan on it. Yeah,
you were kind of like replacing another comedian, but they weren't aware of it down there, were they?
No, they weren't aware.
They didn't know there'd been a change.
They weren't aware of it whatsoever. So I'm sat on the top table. The fella who's the manager of the football club for Carmarthen FC or whoever it was sat next to me. He was from Bristol and he was a good lad. And he said, you might find it hard grafting here tonight, you know. I said, what do you mean? He said, they don't really like outsiders in here. All the lads, they're on the Welsh National Party, in the Welsh National Party or something like that. They'll do this whole fucking spiel in Welsh. They'll get up and start.
Yeah, he was kind of like, a little bit kind of like
anti-English.
Anti-English.
He said he's been
speaking Welsh.
He said he's been arrested for burning down English people's
burning
holiday
people's
homes.
holiday homes down cottages. Very, very.
I was like, what?
Very bitter Welsh nationalists.
Is this 15 years ago?
This is 15 years ago,
Welsh
man.
nationalists.
So anyway, I'm thinking, what the fuck? How am I going to get on here? Next minute, the compere stands up. By the way, just to let all of you know, Hal Nolan, the comedian, can't make it tonight. He's very ill. In his place, we've got this young man just starting off. You know you're fucking gone at that point.
Oh my God.
So anyway, then he did the whole fucking speech in Welsh. And then I phoned my dad and was like, look, these fellas, they're all doing the fucking whole speech in Welsh for the whole show. I'm a stand-in. They don't like me. What the fuck? I'm going to die a terrible, terrible death in front of all these fellas. What am I going to do? And he just said, fuck them, do your act. Which is basically my dad saying, you're going to get fucking slaughtered like a lamb to the slaughter. Just don't give a fuck and just go for it anyway, because you knew I was just going to die either way.
But you got the dough, didn't you?
Yeah. Well...
Was it worth it?
Yeah, for life experience.
But for the money, you made a few quid.
You know, if you get up on stage and do that, it really, like 50 Cent talks about it in his book, The 50th Law. He got shot in the face 6 times at point blank range. After that,
more than me.
After that, you don't really give a fuck about anything. Not comparing myself to 50 Cent getting shot in the face. But what I'm saying is, if you die a terrible, terrible death in front of that many people, it's like an out-of-body experience. So I was standing on stage. I got the mic. I said, oh, give me a decent intro. But you know what it's like when you're in that position? Here's this young man. He's a stand-in tonight. He's just starting off. Fucking hell. You know you're just about to get a bullet. Like it's not happening for you. I stood up with the mic. Fella walked past. He looked like Shaggy off Scooby-Doo. I went, fuck off. Is this Shaggy off Scooby-Doo? Huge laugh. Then you're on then, aren't you?
Yeah, you were away.
All of a sudden, start telling a few gags. Boomf, falling a bit flat. Boomf, falling a bit flat. I had a joke about being adopted. That started putting the picture in their minds. Is this fella from a different country? Where's he from? You could just tell they didn't like outsiders. As soon as he started realising this fella's a fucking outsider, he's a young lad. As soon as they see a tiny, tiny chink in the armour, they start baying for blood, don't they? All of a sudden, deathly silence. Will you both agree with me when I tell you this? That silence has got a very loud sound to it.
Horrible, yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's fucking horrible, yeah.
It's like a vibration of like, oh, it's heavy.
Yeah, but didn't someone shout out?
Yeah, let me finish the story.
There's nothing like it.
So I started telling gags, silence. I thought, oh, fucking hell, I'm gone here. So I'm just ploughing on. I thought, oh, this is fine, this. I'm not, I'm not feeling nervous. I'm just telling me gags, like you said before. I've got to do my time. Fuck it, I'll just do my time. I've got the piece of paper with my script there. Yeah. So I'm just looking down to it. Sound, yous aren't laughing at me. Fuck yous, I'll do my next joke. Smile and wave. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden I looked down. My left leg was shaking like involuntarily, uncontrollably, like as though I wanted to get off. Yeah. Like your body was saying, get you out of here. And then all of a sudden I just heard from the back of the room, you're dying on stage, lad. Like in a Welsh accent. And I just went, I've been Frankie Allen, good night. Boom, sat down in my chair, fucking game over. Howard said to me, stay here, lad, stay here. Like, don't get off. I phoned my dad, he said, get out and get in the car. Got in the car.
How long did you do on stage?
I'd like to say it did 13 minutes. I think it probably did about that.
Well, funny enough, when you rang me, I was in the middle of my act. I was on a stage. I was in the Bolthouse Hotel, and that was in Bolton. About 300 or 400 fellas in there, right in the middle of my fucking act. But really, when it comes to you, especially when he was young and all that, even though he was ringing me, I just said to the lads, I've got to take this call. So when I was talking to you, everyone was just waiting to see what it was.
Why did they know that I was having it on a show or something like that?
No, I said to the lads, I said, this is my son, it's important, 1 minute.
While you're telling
the call on stage?
Yeah, go on.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck about the audience, do I? You're more important to me than a fucking 400 fucking fellas in Bolton. So I said, listen, boys, let me take this. And it's weird, really, because you couldn't hear the pin drop. They were all waiting.
Yeah.
So I said, and you said, oh, Dad, I've died a horrible, terrible death. So I know what they're like, these bastards. When you die, what they do, you go to the bar, then you get all kinds of dickheads coming up to you going, oh, you were terrible tonight. Why don't you pack in?
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible.
Being funny with you. Or you might get the prick who organised it coming up and going, don't you think you should give us some of the money back?
Yeah.
All that business. Shit, or a fella coming up, you started off well, what happened? How come you died? And all that. Give me a terrible fucking time. So my lifetime of experience, fuck them off, just get out, get away from them. So I said to you on a mic, get out of the fucking place, go and sit in the car.
And lock the doors.
I said, take your clothes off, get changed. So you put your pajamas, you have pajamas with you, didn't
so you can't go back in.
Put your pajamas on so you can't go back into the fucking place. And if anybody comes up to the fucking car, everyone's listening.
Yeah.
Anybody comes up to the car and knocks on the window or whatever, just drive a fucking way.
Yeah.
Anyway, when I put the phone down to you, said, okay. Then I explained to the lads what went on. They all applauded.
Go on.
Yeah.
But obviously you must have phoned Roger, who was at the venue, to get me dough and that for me. Howard come out, I had to jockey him home.
I phoned Howard up little later on, when I came off, it was about 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
When I came off stage, then Roger rang me and he said, Will's at a bar. I said, have you got his money? Just get the fucking money. So he went and got the money. And then he went home. So at least he made money, Will.
Did you have to take Howard back?
I took Howard back. Me and Howard had a laugh on the way home, doing his Film Stars game.
Howard is a lovely man. You know, Howard Kendall, very, very greatly missed. People don't realise, obviously, Everton's most successful manager of all time. Fantastic footballer for Everton Football Club. You know, he was a legend. But it's strange, you know, when you met someone, he really felt as though, when you were with him, that you're in the presence of someone very, very special, you know.
Yeah, he was
the
boss.
charisma that he had, unbelievable. He was so funny. And what you're saying about those film stars, he used to do it with me. We were working in Shropshire one night, and on the way home, we used to do, because we're driving through the countryside, pitch black, very lonely, even for the two of us, on our own, the solitude. We had to drive 100 miles, whatever the fucking was, 80 miles. Howard would go, right, lad, let's play film stars. And what it was, I'd say, or Howard would say to me, right, RD. And I go, RD, who the fuck's that? Robert, Ronnie, I can't think. And at one point to me, it was Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And I go, fucking
that
hell.
Particular night when he was on the way home
So this night,
with me.
we were doing it, and he said to me, so-and-so. And he got me, he won one night. He said, MF.
Go on.
And I said, MF, who the fuck's that? I said, a star, a film star.
Yeah.
And in the end, he went, yeah, Mickey Finn. I went, Howard, Mickey Finn's a comedian like me. He's not a film star.
Yeah.
He said, he's famous.
Yeah.
And he fucking won because of the MF. But he was great company, wasn't he, Will?
Yeah, he was hilarious. He was playing that game with me on the way home from Carmarthen. And he kept saying, KH, lad, KH. And then I was going, KH, I can't get it. She's a woman, lad. You know her very well, KH. I said, KH, you might see her on page 3 of the newspaper, lad. I said, KH. He said, Kelly Holmes, lad. I said, that's the fucking runner who was in the Olympics. What are you on about?
He was hilarious. He was very, very funny.
He was on about Kelly Brook. Anyway, look, we got to wrap this up. This podcast was supposed to be about fucking aliens, ghosts, and all kinds.
Week.
We can timeless advice with Frankie Allen. We can do that on the next one. We just thought, let's be no old fucking bad, have a laugh, talk to you about our debts as comedians.
I think what we've done tonight, which has been brilliant, really, just heard from Will about him having a terrible time in Carmarthen. Jack was saying how he had a bad time in West Derby and the horrible West Derby crowd in Daysbrook. He gave him a bad time, and I've had bad times, not just in Germany, all over the fucking world. I've been booed off, you know, fucked off. The curtains are pulled in front of me, and people being dragged off by their feet. But it's nice to see these two recounting and being very, very honest, and that's what we've tried to do on these podcasts. Bring a little bit of truth, no phoniness.
Yeah,
real as it happened. you know, and I think we've done that.
There's
tonight.
loads of comedians, and you know who you are, and you'll say all the time, "Oh, I've never died on stage." Have you fuck? Every comedian has died on stage, and we've just got the fucking bollocks to tell you the truth.
Look.
So is that right? Is that right, Dad?
There's a comedian now, and he's on a fucking television. He's a millionaire, and I've worked with this prick. And I swear to God, listen to this and listen to it. I swear to God, I'm not telling lies. He's fucking rubbish. You wouldn't allow him to entertain a gang of fucking kids in a back garden. And these are multimillionaires. So anyway, I'm not going to get on my soapbox. We've finished now. We've said what we've had to say. Tonight you've heard from genuine comedians who've had genuine bad times, and we've admitted to it.
Belter, I hope you've enjoyed listening to or watching this. Please do come to a show, whether it's a Headline Frankie show with me as MC and Jack as support.
And you will
not be disappointed. You won't see any
deaths, by the way.
You'll see us
you
fucking
won't see
smash
us
the place.
dying because you've got a 100% record of bringing a house down everywhere we go.
We smash it to pieces. All show tickets will be available at frankieallen.co.uk. If you're interested in booking Frankie for a show, or you want the full show with myself and Jack, please do get in touch via email, or you can just go to Frankie's website. Everything below will be in the description. We are also actively looking for a new podcast sponsor. Frank, it'd be great to get a new sponsor on the pod. Skalptec have been absolutely fantastic in supporting the pod, and all the details for Skalptec are in the description. But we need someone else to step in now, and there'll be loads of eyes on your brand or company. We get thousands of views per week. Get in touch with us if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast. So finally,
in Jack's words,
that's the way to do it. Why does Jack say, oh yeah, the puppy? The puppy. Yeah. So from myself, from Jack, from Frankie, have you both enjoyed it?
Brilliant. Great.
Really good. Enjoyed it. Nice, relaxed chat. We always have fun, don't we?
Yeah, we've had a good laugh. So listen, we have really, really appreciated you all tuning in. Whether you're listening or you're watching, we appreciate it massively. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or your podcast provider of choice, please do give us a 5-star review. It goes a fucking long way. If you're watching it on YouTube, get yourself subscribed, give us a thumb up, comment below. We want to hear some comments from you guys. What do you want us to talk about in future podcasts? You know, it really helps us out. We're trying to deliver the best possible content for you. If you've got any questions you want to ask Frank, if you want to hear him spin a yarn on a particular story that you might have heard on the grapevine, if you want to hear his thoughts on anything, whether that's, you know, what's going on in the world today, or you want to hear his thoughts on other comedians, or whatever the fuck you want to hear, let us know, and you'll be happy to talk about it, won't you?
Talk about any subject, as long as it's in kind of good taste anyway. Any subject at all we'll talk about. So see you later.
Nice one. In a bit, people. Catch you on the next one. Signing out.